Alright guys, welcome to the Pod Numb video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the 5 things that I really don't like about my car. Now, I feel like everyone does these type of videos saying, oh, here's 5 things or 6 things or, you know, whatever minor things that they don't like about their vehicle or whatever, and then they always say, well, obviously I don't hate this car. And yeah, it's one of those videos that I've really been avoiding, just because I don't want to be that guy on YouTube, you know, making a video about his car and whatnot. But like I said, in my things that I do like about my vehicle, you guys, you know, asked for this video as well, so it is something I wanted to get out to you guys. So, you know, I guess I'll be that guy. You know, I don't really like, you know, I don't like this. It's always the nitpickiest things, but then I realized as I was filming my own video, or as I was thinking of stuff, it always is really just teeny stuff. And obviously, like they always say, I don't hate the car. So, you know, before I get into my, you know, things that I don't like, obviously it's always small things and whatnot, and I still have the car for that reason. If it was anything major, I would have been got rid of the car if it was really something that was just I couldn't handle at all. But without further ado, just going to hop right into the first thing I can think of right off the top of my head, and that is the fact that when people do review this car, they get into it, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves. You know, if you watch any reviews about especially when the S550 first came out, they get into the car, they turn it on, and they go to the steering modes right here. And I have them in my base V6 model right here. And you know, they go through them, and there's sport, there's a comfort, and then there's normal. And I personally do keep mine in comfort. But then they go through and they try to figure out if there's a difference. So here's what they do: they basically just grab the steering wheel and they just do like a little jiggle, and it makes no sense to me at all, especially when you've driven this car, because there is a difference. And then once they do their jiggle, they act like there isn't a difference, but I'll tell you that there definitely is a difference, especially like I said, coming from a person that does drive the vehicle in comfort a lot. There definitely is a difference, in my opinion, going from comfort to, you know, the tightest setting that you can have. And, you know, they just do this little jiggle, and I'm just like, you actually have to turn the wheel a good amount to feel the difference. This little jiggle that you're doing, you're not going to be able to feel it right then and there. That's not... I don't get why people do that. It just really annoys me when I see people reviewing this car, and that's the first thing they would do is do that and talk about, you know, how they don't like that. You know, they love the interior and whatnot, but as soon as they do that, they would just lost me right there. But anyways, another thing that I do dislike about this vehicle is the stock exhaust. Now, not the sound, because the sound, honestly, it doesn't sound too bad. It could definitely be louder. That's why I have the Borla S-Steps on the back of my car. But the actual tips, and I think I've mentioned this in previous videos, the tips are so bad on the EcoBoost and the V6 Mustang. The GT, you know, the tips look better, but they're not, you know, fantastic like an aftermarket exhaust would most likely be, depending on who you went with. But the stock tips on the V6 and the EcoBoost are just awful. They're really teeny and thin. It looks like you could, honestly, you could probably go and cut your finger on one if you really tried, if you just walked up to it. Another thing that I really do dislike about this vehicle is the stock spoiler that comes with the vehicle. In my opinion, it's not even really a spoiler. Now, you can't get the spoiler deletes and whatnot with the EcoBoost, I think, performance pack. I definitely know the GT performance pack does come with a spoiler delete, and you know, that's really helpful for, you know, putting on aftermarket spoilers and whatnot, especially if you're just going to drill right in. You don't have to worry about pre-existing holes or whatnot. So in my case, I would like to have the GT350R spoiler, but I would have to you know, worry about those holes that are already there showing. But just the spoiler on here was honestly, in my opinion, not worth it. It's really something that's not, I don't know why you would put that little blimp on the back of the car. I mean, you just look at it, it can't be functional. I highly doubt that it is. It's just like, they should have just honestly just left no spoiler on there, but then, you know, they can't offer the spoiler delete, you know, if the V6 and the EcoBoost base models, you know, actually don't have a spoiler. So it's like you have a spoiler, but at the same time you don't. And in my opinion, it's just really useless to have that thing back there. And another thing that does annoy me, especially considering the fact that when this vehicle was thought of, and, you know, basically when they were doing their R&D and whatnot, was around 2013, 14, and obviously released in 15, the S550s did. And seeing that I do not have basically a handle to close my trunk, I don't know what they were thinking. You know, I feel like that's something that they really did miss here. I don't really see how it would be a constriction, because I mean, you go back there, I go back there to open up my trunk, and then I go to close, and there's nothing to grab onto back there, so you just have to put your fingerprints, you know, right there on the back deck lid there, on the black deck lid. Even when my car is clean, I hate doing it. It's just super annoying, and you can actually see fingerprints now because my car is really dirty. But you know, it's just something that I really dislike, and I don't really know how it happened. and you know, like I said, with this car being, you know, thought of later on, I can think if it was maybe it was like in 1990 something, I'd understand, but you know, I think a handle to close the trunk would be something simple to think of. So that is something that I really dislike about this car. And the last two things that I do have on my list about what I do not like about this vehicle would be the paint. Now, I do like the color and everything, like I've already said, deep impact blue. But as far as paint goes, and I've talked to some other Mustang owners about the same thing, we do kind of feel like this paint chips a little too easy. Now, we understand that rock chips happen, and I understand that rock chips happen and whatnot. But I do feel like, you know, it doesn't take much to really get a chip. You know, I'd like to see some type of coating or just thicker paint, I guess, honestly, is, you know, what I think. But, you know, I do feel like this paint chips easier. I do have my, obviously, I have my share of chips on the front of my front bumper. I've showed you guys in previous videos. And then my last thing on my list is the MT82 transmission. Like a lot of you guys know, I love having a manual car. You know, I do think it really adds experience, especially the owning experience of the V6 and the Ego Boost, I think would be amplified, you know, just with having the manual 6-speed transmission, because I'm not a fan of the 6-speed auto that comes in these 15 through 17 Mustangs. And you know, it's just the only thing I don't really like about it, and a lot of people will tell you, you know, so it's really hit or miss in my opinion, depending on who you talk to, as far as shifting and whatnot. I've had a pretty decent experience, but I have been locked out of gears a couple of times going into second, and just it can be frustrating and whatnot. And like I said, you talk to any Mustang owner, you know, I feel like if they had to choose something that was the biggest weak spot of the Mustang, it'd probably be the transmission. So the MT82, you know, it's not the best transmission, but you know, like I said, it's really hit or miss. You know, I enjoy it, and it's definitely something that you really could start a topic about with someone in the forum or whatever. But guys, that's all I have for today's video. If you like this video, or if you think I left anything out that you don't like about your car, or you know, if you've ridden a buddy's car or whatever who has a Mustang, tell me something that you think I may have missed, or that you don't like about your own personal vehicle or whatnot. If you haven't checked out my other video about the things that I love about my vehicle, I'll go ahead and put that link in the description. Instagram is at Put the Power Down, and the Snapchat is Dan the Light Man, and I'll catch you guys in another video.